NASCAR has suspended one of its Cup Series drivers after he liked what many consider an insensitive and offensive post on X, formerly known as Twitter. Noah Gragson was also dropped by his team after liking a meme about George Floyd's death using a play on a Disney movie. And X owner Elon Musk has responded. He is now offering to pay legal fees for anyone treated, quote, unfairly by their employer for using his platform. So joining me now with more insight, Corey Johnson, hedge fund manager and host of the Drill Down podcast. Corey, thank you for giving us some of your time now. We know companies essentially, can make decisions as they please, particularly private companies. The legal footing is certainly shaky on this one, but is Elon Musk potentially the world's biggest hypocrite here because he's laid off thousands of employees, 80% of the company. He's brought this odd culture, with him. I'm sure plenty of former Twitter employees would have something to say, and now he's trying to stand up for people who were fired because of what he says is unfair in relation to his platform.
Well, it's clear he's not a defender of the average worker. He's a defender of the average racist. I mean, that it's a really bizarre thing for him to take this platform that has been a great boon to spreading information, to sharing information, giving people voice, and at the same time has given some really ugly conversations a voice. To amplify the ugly conversations and to empower that is a really bizarre choice and kind of right in line with what we've seen from Elon Musk.
Yeah, and trying to stay neutral here, at least on my side here, Corey, what is Musk's potential endgame here? I mean, Twitter used to be this public forum, and obviously, it was imperfect. It wasn't like it was all sunshine and roses on Twitter, but it almost seems like now he's only catering to one side or one particular type of user. Why would he want to do that?
I think it seems to be very personally driven for him. It doesn't seem like he sat down with a bunch of MBAs and came out with a long-term business plan or the McKinsey consultants to imagine what Twitter was going to look like in 5 years. And the problem is on the other side, he's facing real competition from Mark Zuckerberg and from Threads, where they've seen grown to 120 million users, about a third of what has taken Twitter well over a decade to get to. And so we see a real match here, a cage match, if you will, let alone the potential of a real cage match between these two companies, one that seems to have a real vision of what they want social media to look like in the future, and the other in Twitter and X sort of reeling from idea to idea from day to day.
And Corey, we've seen a lot of changes, obviously, now with X, but is there an appetite for this kind of renewed, different platform here? Or more importantly, can it be profitable? Because I'm sure, at the end of the day, Elon Musk wants it to be profitable.
Look, it was a money-losing business when he took it over. The potential for profitability looked like it was there. And he's certainly destroyed a lot of the value there, not only by getting rid of some of the people who made the system work, and there have been a lot of technical problems since then. To be fair, they had technical problems sometimes before that as well, but also destroying a lot of brand value. The notion of what a tweet is, and to release a tweet, and to write a tweet, and to read something in a tweet, changing the name of that company destroys that brand in a lot of ways. Brand experts have put that at $3 to $20 billion, that brand now gone because he likes the name X and has always liked the name X. But the definition of what is a tweet is known. The definition of X has more to do with porn than it does media and information and sharing. And it's a curious decision to go down that path, but it's certainly a value-destroying decision as well.
Yeah, the brand name change, it certainly is perplexing at the very least. Corey, we saw that graphic there, 50% loss since Elon Musk took over. Can this business be salvaged at this point? I mean, we're talking billions of dollars in losses.
It's an open question. It's also important to recognize that one of the things that Elon Musk did financially with this company when he took it over was saddle on a lot of debt. So as tough as that business was in the years before this takeover by Elon Musk, imagine adding on those debt payments of up to $1 billion a year. That's what happened to Twitter, now X. So as hard as the business was to make profitable a year ago, it's a lot harder now.
Even harder now. All right, Corey Johnson, we certainly appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.